Welcome to Tea with Carol. Today I'm going to talk about when God feels distant. I had that happen for me personally. I came to the Lord later in life. Actually, I prayed the sinner's prayer when I was a child, but I didn't really come into lordship until about the 1980, 1979, something like that. Over that time, I was growing in the Lord. I was coming to know Him more. Then I came into a period in about 2003, 2004, where God was really just downloading words to me. I couldn't write fast enough to be able to contain everything that He was telling me. It was such a wonderful, intimate time. And this went on for several years. But unfortunately, I only knew one way to do it with God. And I kind of clung to that way. And one time I was talking to the Lord about a revival that had come in a certain place, and I was saying, well, you know how the people were playing the same song and they were having the same speaker and they were doing the same things because they didn't really know what brought God in such a powerful way, and they didn't want to mess anything up. And that was kind of like the Lord told me, that's what you're doing, that I'm not allowing Him to be God and come to me in any way that He wants. So anyway, I did have to come to the point where, well, actually, I didn't come to the point. God came to the point. He told me, I don't want to do it this way anymore, because it had become stale. It had become me just listening, me just absorbing like a blank slate. It wasn't a healthy relationship. There was no back and forth with us. And that's what God wanted. He wanted relationship. So He had to do surgery, take the cut, and I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. Because what happened when He left, the intimacy left. And once you taste that intimacy, once you know that intimacy with God, it spoils you for anything else. That's all you want. I did everything I could think of to restore that intimacy. I repented. I asked forgiveness. I was prayed for. I was delivered. I did everything. I declared everything I could think of. I did everything that I could do, anything that would come to mind, to try to change this, to try to bring it back to that place of intimacy with God. But nothing worked. Nothing worked. At that point, even the Bible had become dry. Reading the Bible had become just lifeless. Worship did not touch my heart. It was just dry as a bone. And I couldn't do anything about it. But I had a decision to make. Am I going to keep pushing in, or am I going to go somewhere else, let go, whatever? My decision was, I don't care if I don't feel anything. I'm not going to go by feelings only. I know God is the answer. I know the intimacy we had was real and true. And that's what I want again. And so I continued to press in, not knowing if I'd ever come into a place of intimacy with Him again. After maybe, it was 7 years or so, I was still pressing into God and still doing it in a way that was, I know it's right. My feelings weren't connecting with it, but I knew it was right. And it was funny because at the time I said, God, you're not talking to me anymore. And He'd say, yes, I am. And I'd hear Him. but it wasn't the intimacy that we had. So I was still hearing God. I could still hear him. I could still seek him. I could still hear the answers. I just wasn't having that beautiful relationship that we had before, where he was just downloading precious revelation and words into my heart and mind. After quite a few years, God said to me, I wanted to see if you were going to still keep coming. Now, some people might think that that was pretty cruel, but it wasn't. I knew he was saying, I wanted you to see your heart. That your heart is dedicated to me. That even not feeling anything, that even without any kind of affirmation, you're still going to keep coming. So that was an area of growth for me. It's not that we shouldn't use our feelings with God, that we don't have feelings for him, that our love for him isn't a feeling thing, because it is, and receiving his love definitely is. But there are times when you need to make the choice to keep pressing in regardless. I know this isn't the last time we'll talk about this, but thanks for tuning in today. Bye-bye.